Hi.
Um, okay, this is Tamar. This is our Mishna Gemara and
Is this
stuff.
Shira?
Okay.
Okay, so basically, the Mishnah starts with the words Elu Dvarim Amru Mipnei Darkei Shalom. So we couldn't translate this completely, but we said these are the things we say in order to keep the peace, which is like a working definition of Mipnei Darkei Shalom. It's because it's kind of like Mipnei Tikkun Olam, which doesn't have a real definition yet. It's gonna be we're gonna make this like blue just to kind of like as like a statement, and um, and after it we're gonna put a colon because it's gonna be like introducing a list.
Okay, the next thing that it says is Kohen koreh rishon ve'acharav Levi ve'acharav Yisrael mipnei darkei shalom. So this means a Kohen reads first, and then a Levi, and then a Yisrael mipnei darkei shalom because of
To keep
our
the
working
peace.
definition to keep the peace. This we assume to mean is talking about the Torah because now we know that that's the order of the Aliyahs for reading the Torah. And this, because it's the first item in our list, is going to be in purple. And afterwards, we're going to add a comma. Actually, we're going to add a semicolon because that's the way a list works.
Okay, so the next thing in the Mishnah says Me'arvim b'bayit yashan mibnei darkei shalom, and this translates to mean um, you officiate the eruv by in the old house because of to keep the peace or mipnei darkei shalom. And an explanation, which is using Rashi and like just knowledge, is that when you officiate an eruv, you do it by with food, and so this is explaining that you keep if this is referring to a courtyard that in the middle of a bunch of houses, and so wherever you officiate the eruv for that area, you keep it in the same house that it's always been in.
Excuse me for the interruption. Will Sam Feldman and Ben Zion Osgood please come to my office? Thank you.
Okay, you could just ignore
Ignore
that.
But yeah, so you keep it in the old house and the original house, in
like
order
where
to keep
it's
the
always
peace.
officiated at.
And we're gonna make this
This always happens.
also purple, because it's another item on the list, and we're gonna put a semicolon after it to continue.
Okay, the next thing that it says is Bol shehu karov.
Ooh.
Okay, sorry. Bol shehu karov le'ama mitma'er rishon mipnei darkei shalom. So this means a pit that is close to the ama or a body of water, mitma'er rishon. Mitma'er rishon is it fills up first, mipnei darkei shalom. Our definition. So this means that what this is referring to is that in order to make sure that there's no fighting between people about the way an irrigation system would work, the pits, people would fill up their pits in order to water their fields in case there's a drought or something like that. Not a drought, in case the water doesn't continue to flow. So they always have water saved up. So the way irrigation would work is that the water from the source always flows to the closest pits first, and then keeps going. And that's just the way it works. So this is another item on the list. It's also going to be purple, and we're also going to put a semicolon after it.
Okay, so the next thing in the Mishnah says Mitzudo chaya ve'afot v'dagim yesh bahen mishum gazel mivnei darkei shalom. And literally this translates to Mitsudot chaya are like animal trap. Mitsudot are traps. Chaya for animals and birds and dagim and fish. yesh bahen mishum gezel is like that 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 if you take from the trap, you're stealing. So in order to keep the peace or whatever that means. And so let's say it's explaining that if I create a trap and then I don't take the animal and someone gets stuck in the trap and I don't take the animal, but someone else comes and takes it, it's stealing because I technically own it, even though I haven't like collected it yet. And the color is gonna be is another purple thing because it's still part of the list, and it's gonna be a comma because well tomorrow I'll explain the next sentence.
Okay, so hi. So the next thing is Rabbi Yossi Omer Gezel Gamur. That means that Rabbi Yossi says this it is always stealing. It was never a question. Meaning the reason that it's talking that it needs to say that the trap that taking from the trap is stealing is because it's a debate. But Rabbi Yossi says no, it's not a debate. That always has been stealing. So this isn't necessarily a statement about Mipnei Delkei Shalom. So we're going to make it a different color. We're going to make it green. And now we're going to put the semicolon because it's finishing the item on the list. Did I do this green? This one? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Mitziat Cheresh Shota Vikatan Yesh Bahen Mishum Gazel Mipnei Darkei Shalom. And this translates to if someone who is deaf, a fool, or a child finds something and then someone else takes it, it counts as stealing. And the explanation of this is that it refers to when a deaf person, a fool, and a child don't technically own ownership, just like halachically they can't own anything. And so this is explaining that if they find something, they own it, and if you were to take it from them, it's stealing. And so you can't do that. Mipnei darkei shalom. To keep the peace or whatever the definition is. Oh, and the punctuation for this is going to be another. Oh, right. It's gonna. Sorry, it's not going to be a semicolon. It's going to be purple because it's part of the list, but there's going to be a comma because it's going to be another sentence about Rabbi Yossi next.
So Rabbi Yossi Omer Gezel Gamur. So like before, this means that Rabbi Yossi says this was never a question. It was always considered stealing, even if like halachically they didn't own it. Like it's their stuff, so you don't take it. Otherwise, it's stealing. This is going to be green again because it's like a second opinion, sort of. And there's going to be a semicolon because we're moving on to the next item on the list.
Okay. Ani haminakef berosh hazayit ma shetachtav gazel mipnei darkei shalom. So this translates to if a poor person cuts down the olives of a tree and they take whatever fell, it's stealing. And so, I mean, that's pretty straight out, but basically, if a poor person is cutting down olives from a tree and they drop from the ground and they take it, those are stealing. Mipnei darkei shalom, to keep the peace. The color is going to be purple because it's another item on the list. And again, the punctuation is going to be just a comma because it's going to say another Rabbi Yossi.
So Rabbi Yossi Omer Gezel Gamur. That means, again, same thing. It was never a question. It is stealing. Oh my God. So I'm going to switch it up a bit. I'm going to do the last one. So, Ein Mamchin B'yad Anyei Ovdei Kochavim B'leket Shachacha V'Pe'ah Mipnei Dalkei Shalom. So this means that you wouldn't rebuke, Mamchin is rebuke, B'yad Anyei Ovdei Kochavim is at a poor person who worships the stars, meaning someone who isn't Jewish, or someone who's pagan. Beleket, shachacha, v'pe'ah, those are the three mitzvot that have to do with leaving some of your produce in the field for poor people to take. So if you drop things when you're creating the bundles, you need to leave it. If you drop a bundle on your way to bringing the produce into farm or storehouses, whatever it is, so you need to leave that, and also you leave a corner of your field. So in those three cases, you wouldn't rebuke them for taking from what's extra. They can take as much as a Jewish poor person, mipnei dalkei shalom, in order to keep the peace or whatever that means. This color is going to be purple because it's another rule, mipnei dalkei shalom. And that's the end of the Mishnah. Now we're going to move on to the Gemara. This Gemara is directly taken from a different Mishnah. So when we say that it quotes the Mishnah, it's talking about a different one, not this one, but they relate because you'll see it has to do with Ovdei, Kochavim, Umazalot. So yeah, we'll start now.